This video was sponsored by OutBeachExpress.com. Outbeach Express Stock Media by Subscription is a new site that offers high-quality broadcast resolution stock media content. Their content includes stock footages up to 5K resolution, music, sound effects, images, and After Effects templates. Sign up today for a free account at OutBeachExpress.com and receive 19 free pre-selected stock media downloads. No credit cards, payments, or obligations required. Create your free account today.
Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to my After Effects tutorial. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create some 3D lower thirds in Adobe After Effects. So what you see right now on the screen is what I'm going to show you today, and this has been created without using Element 3D. So no third-party plugins being used, everything has been done right here in Adobe After Effects. Now this awesome people is my 3D lower thirds design. When I put this on a footage, it's gonna look something like this. So in my opinion, awesome people, this is a really killer style of presenting your lower thirds and your information, and it really gives you that next level production quality feel. I've seen FilmRed use this technique all the time, and I thought I'll make a tutorial on this. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. Now I've created my composition already. I'm gonna right click, new shape layer. And this is very important also, people, that you rename your shape layers properly in order for you to understand how this technique works. Okay, so 01 underscore back. This is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to open this shape layer, go to add rectangle, add fill. Okay, so this way we know how our rectangle looks. I'm going to open the rectangle path 1, go to size, break the link, and change the first value to 600. Select the shape layer, go to FX and presets, type in fill, apply to the shape layer. Now this way awesome people, we can change the color of the shape layer anytime we want, and quite easily too, right? So I'm going to keep it a nice orangish color, something like this. And now awesome people, I'm going to start duplicating my layer. So select this, duplicate, Control D, and I'm going to call this 02 front, duplicate, and I'm going to call this 03 top. Okay, duplicate one more time. I'm going to call this 04 bottom. So what I'm going to do awesome people is I'm going to use all these different shape layers to create a proper 3D square, right, or a 3D cube if you will, because I'm going to add the side layers a little later. Anyways, I'm going to select all the different shape layers that I have now, and I'm going to make them 3D. Now for you to work a little better, what I would say is come over here where it says one view and switch to 4 views. Now if you're working on a laptop, I would understand that 4 views won't be possible because they would just clutter up the screen. So go for 2 views. For the tutorial's case, I'm going to work with 2 views, but when I was making the template, I chose 4 view because it was giving me a lot more options. But no worries, for all my laptops users, I have view covered. So keep the one view to active camera. Okay, you can change it over here. So the one view is supposed to be active camera. The second view, awesome people, at least for right now, change it to right. Okay, this way we can see what is happening. So right now we can only see one single line, and that is perfect because everything is on top of one another. So it looks a little cluttered up, but it's okay. We're gonna position them properly. So select your first layer, and using the gizmo awesome people, I'm gonna push it back like so. Okay, the front is in position, so that's good. 03 awesome people, if I was to come here and select 03, you can see that the anchor point is right in the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change its anchor point position by hitting the Y key on my keyboard, and I'm going to place the anchor point right here. Okay, right there. You can also use a script called Move Anchor Point. It's a free script. I'll try to get the download link to this in the description. Anyways, I'm going to hit the R key, and I'm going to change the X rotation to 90. So what's going to happen awesome people is it's going to become like a hut. You see that? Because if we change the rotation, it automatically went 90. Now I'm going to go to bottom, and I'm going to bring the anchor point down like so. Again, you could have used a script, but for anyone who doesn't have the script, I would like to show you guys how to do that. Once you have the anchor point over here, go to your right view to see what happens. Select the layer bottom, hit the R key, and make the X rotation minus 90 this time. So minus 90. And as you can see, awesome people, we have constructed a proper square 3D layer, right? Now, just to show you guys what's happening, to anyone who's confused, to anyone who's like, oh, what happened? Let me show you guys. So we created 4 different layers, right? We positioned all of them in 3D space. If I create my camera and if I was to orbit around it, you can see that this is a full-on 3D layer. Now, awesome people, if you're having this problem, this miss gap sort of problem, you need to fix this. If you won't, then your final animation is going to have slight problems. So if I was to go to my right and zoom in, you can see that there is a slight problem over here. So I'm going to take this. Actually, this is the fault of this back layer. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to push this in like this, right? And there we go. The problem is almost solved, not solved yet. So push it in. Now, if it was to overlap, that would be fine, but don't have it like incomplete effect. That wouldn't work. So as you can see, it's gone now, and you need to do this for all your layers. Okay, so I think there's gonna be a little problem over here. So let's just see what happens. And I'm not gonna waste a lot of time doing this, but I just want I just want you guys to do it when you're creating lower thirds for your film or for your reviews or any of that. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard for nudging your layers a little bit. So as you can see, that is fixed. That looks good to me. And let's move on. Now, awesome people, we need to work on filling these 2 holes. So we have created a 4 square like that, but now, awesome people, we need to fill these 2 holes as well. So I'm going to delete this camera. I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to rename this to 05. Right. Okay. So there's going to be the right panel right here. Now the problem is, awesome people, that the size is very, very different. So I'm going to open this shape layer, contents, rectangle path 1, open that, and now, awesome people, change the size back to 100. So this is the default value. If you want, you can also add the lock, but that's just that's something that's there. Now, since we duplicated the right layer from the bottom layer, the rotation value is still there on the right layer. So I'm gonna make this 0, and now this is where our right panel is. So we need to move it into the right place. Now you remember, since we are working with 2 views, one is active camera, the second one is right. So go to the second one and change it from right to front, because now we no longer need right, we need to work with the front view. So once over here, I'm going to move the right panel on the side like this, and then, awesome people, like this, awesome people, and move the vertical positioning as well. So you can use your arrow keys to nudge everything properly if you feel that something is a little off. Once this is done, take your anchor point or the Y key and bring your anchor point over here. Okay, and now, awesome people, if we were to rotate this, we need to put this in about minus 90, I guess, right? You're gonna get that proper close effect. Now you can see that the reason I'm not working with the active camera is because it's giving me the 3D distortion effect, and the reason front is not giving me is because front is an orthographic view. It cannot understand the Z space. It's just a proper 2D view. But active camera is a 3D view, so it's going to give you a little problem. So always work with something like this. I'm going to duplicate the 05 layer, rename it to 06 underscore left, and then, awesome people, I'm going to move it to the other side. So as you can see, in my front, the left is looking flat, but in the active camera it's looking a little distorted. I'm going to use my front view over here, and I'm going to position it properly. Again, you need to, if it's overlapping a little bit, then that's fine, but it shouldn't be like this. Okay, this gap is definitely a problem. So I'm going to use my arrow keys this time to properly position it. Super awesome people, you have properly constructed a 3D lower third. Now just to check if everything is right or no, create a camera, and there we go, right? So full on proper 3D lower third is created, and this is looking really nice. Now, to anyone who missed out that why the hell is this color different, it's because I went to my top panel and I changed the fill effect just a bit. Okay, so I made it a little bit lighter. Now, awesome people, you have to understand that the reason we are getting the 3D depth is because we are, or our eyes or our brains is seeing different colors over here. It's able to see the extrusion because of different shades of color. So if I was to keep my lower third in only one single color, as I see right now, this appears to be like a 2D flat shape, right? It looks a very weird shape, but it's still a 2D shape. So in order for us to give that proper 3D effect, we need to basically change the color of something. So we're going to select one of the panels, and this is just to show you guys, if I was to change its color, you can see now it looks a lot better. If I was to do the same thing over here, change it like this, we get a much better 3D depth, right? So again, the changing color part is very important. If you forget that, or if you don't pay attention to that, then your lower third will look a little bit off. I'm going to delete the camera because that is something that I don't need. And now awesome people, you can work with one single view, okay? But make sure that it is in active camera and you're not working in front. So change it to active camera. Alright, this looks good, awesome people. Now we're going to create a new null object. I'm going to call this controller. And I'm going to make this into a 3D layer. Now, before we start connect, one tip that I would like to give you is that go back to your 4 views or to your 2 views or whatever you want to, you're working with, and make sure that controller is at the center of the lower third. Now, when I say center, I don't mean it from the front view. I mean it from every single view. So if I was to change the view from active camera to front, you can see that, okay, this is definitely in the center, so that's good. But if I change it to right, you can see that this is definitely not in the center. So go to the position of the controller, not change the anchor point. That's not going to do us any good. So go to the position of the controller, and then we're going to move it in the Z space. There you go. And bring it in the center. So this way, awesome people, when we are rotating and adding rotation animation to the controller, we're getting proper animation and we're not getting any glitches or any off animation. So again, go to right, go to top, and just see whether the controller is at the center of the lower third or no. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to go back to one view, and now awesome people, let's start animating this. I'm going to change back to active camera before. Okay, this is good. Now awesome people, go to rotation, and if you were to do this, you can see that nothing is going to happen because we haven't connected the controller or the shape layers to the controller. So parent this to the controller, and now if you were to do this, you can see that yes, there is indeed animation. Now the one way that I feel that a 3D lower third is supposed to be animated is by showing the bottom panel once the animation is done. So I'm going to go to the bottom panel, I'm going to click on fill, and I'm going to change its color. I'm going to make it a little bit light shade. Okay, so right now you cannot see it, but once it's rotating, or once it is rotated, it's going to be visible, and that's going to look really nice. So let's try it out. I'm going to go to 1 second and 15 frames right there. And this is how you animate. Okay, a lot of people may get confused on how to animate a 3D lower third. If you are, once you have constructed the full thing, once you have decided that, okay, in my animation should be like this, like that, and you have changed the color of your panel, then first, awesome people, don't just start, animating the stopwatches. First, go to the end keyframe, or in my case, it's 1 second and 15 frames. And then first just decide how your lower third is going to look like. So it's going to look something like this. It's going to look like this, right? Now I'm not going to waste a lot of time again doing this because I want to show you guys the technique of how I did it. If you put in some time in doing the designing part, then it's going to look really nice. So, okay, so I want my lower third, my end keyframe, or at least the end part of my animation to look something like this. I'm going to start the animation for all the 3 properties. Now awesome people, I'm gonna go move back in time, go to the first frame, and then I'm just gonna go crazy. So change all the values like this, like that. Now awesome people, when I say crazy, don't go super crazy and start adding revolutions. Don't try to do that, because that would create a very fast animation and that would not look very nice. So let's take a preview and see what we have. And as you can see, this is not a good example of a lower third. The animation is just too much, and I feel that the Y rotation is there a lot, and also the Z. So I'm gonna reduce them. And this awesome people is an okay, it's not super good, but I guess it's okay for the tutorials case. So I'm going to select all the different keyframes, hit the F9 key, go to my graph editor, and of course we need to add a little bit of ease like this, right? And that's looking really nice. Actually, it's just not looking that nice, but it's okay, you know. I hope you guys are understanding the technique. Now once your 3D lower third has been animated, okay, only then awesome people start doing the text part. Okay, so once you're satisfied that okay, the 3D animation is looking good, then awesome people, we can start adding the text. So I'm going to create a new composition, and I'm going to call this title holder, and I'm going to keep the resolution of it to 600 to 150. Okay, next awesome people, take the text tool, start typing something. So I'm going to say title 01 goes here. Alright, I'm going to bring it in the center using the align tool, maybe squish it down a bit, so change to 95. There you go, that looks nice. Now awesome people, we will attach this title holder in our lower thirds composition. The reason I'm doing this is because it would be a lot easier for us to change the title afterwards. So if I was to change, if I was to just track the text layer over here, then changing the text layer would be very difficult. Once I want to change this, I can just go to title holder, change the text over here, and the animation is going to update here. Okay, oh, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to change the title holder now. Okay, as I said before, awesome people, that you start the text part only after you're satisfied with how the 3D animation has taken place. Okay, so assuming that you have done your animation, you have added position animation, scale, rotation, etc., etc., go a little bit ahead in time and reset any property that you have animated. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I want to create these temporary keyframes to get to the part of how my lower third was there by default, right? We are getting back to level 1 where there is only the 3D structure, there was no animation. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to attach this title holder in our full animation properly. I'm going to enable this, I'm going to make this into a 3D layer, and then awesome people, I know that my text layer should be on the lighter side of my animation, and I also know that the lighter side of the animation is my bottom panel. So I'll go to these temporary keyframes, and then awesome people, I will change the view to two views horizontal, and I'll change the second view to bottom. Right, I'll go to title holder, and I'll position, rotation it properly, do all of that stuff, and it cannot come. Now the reason it cannot be seen is because the rotation is a little off, so I need to rotate it properly. So R key, there you go, right? Change the X rotation to 90, and then awesome people, bring this down and move this ahead like this. And then awesome people, make sure that you're not keeping a lot of space. That you're not keeping a lot of space over here like that. Okay, so keep it as close as possible, like this, right? So it's not visible in the active camera, but it is visible on the bottom layer. Now awesome people, once this much part is done, just take the title holder and attach it to the controller. Once that is done, awesome people, you can delete the 3 keyframes, so this way your old animation is not affected. And now if we were to go back to playing this, you can see that this is not how our animation is supposed to look like, because our view is not right. You are working in the bottom view, change it to active camera, and this is how our lower third looks, right? So this is how I was able to animate this lower third. Same technique used for my logo placeholder. The only difference was that all the different let me actually show it to you. All the different logo holder shape layers were just one size. In the title holder, I had to keep 600 by 100 and the two sides were different, but in logo holder, all the 6 sides had the same sizes. So that is how I was able to create my 3D lower third in Adobe After Effects. This may seem to be a little difficult, but this is not all that difficult, awesome people. And to anyone who's wondering where is the template, TJ Style Zengen Learning, please release a template. Awesome people, I have my guys working on the template, and hopefully, I cannot make any promises, but hopefully the template will be out soon. Okay. Now, once you're done creating your animation, one last tip I would like to give you is that create another null object and call it scale controller. Okay. And what we'll do, awesome people, is that we will attach the controller of title holder. So this is the main controller, attach it to scale controller, and then, awesome people, we will control the scale through this. So I want my starting, or at least I want to 1 second move back in time and change it to 0, right? Select both the keyframes, hit the F9 like that. So this is how the full animation looks, right? And you can create the same keyframe style at the end, so it's gonna disappear too. So say I want the hold to be for 2 seconds, click here, move ahead in time for 1 second and make it 0, right? Check the graph of the keyframes. We don't want a graph to be like this, so you're gonna push it to the left, select this and hit the F9 key. There you go, that's a perfect graph. So it holds and then it's gonna go back, right? And you can even add some rotation keyframes over here, so it's not a simple go back. It adds like a little bit of rotation to the end. So there you go, you see this? So that is how I was able to create my 3D lower thirds, awesome people. I hope you guys liked them. I hope you guys had a good time watching my tutorial. So I hope you guys understood the technique. I hope you guys had a good time watching my tutorial. And if you did, then please like this video on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel Zengen Learning, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone.